Well, so Mount Rushmore National Memorial. It's a massive sculpture carved into a Mount Rushmore Black Hills region of South Dakota. Completed in 1941, the sculpture is roughly 60 feet high with granite faces depicting U.S. Presidents George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. But not only is Mount Rushmore a memorial, but it's also used in pop culture references to signify the best or who makes an impact. So let's discuss Christmas Hallmark movies. Which actresses would make up the Hallmark Christmas Mount Rushmore? And that's our topic today. And while I have an opinion on this, I thought I would bring together 4 Hallmark reviewers to help settle this very important question. So why don't we meet our guests, Love Boat style? All right. So that's you'll have to excuse my oldness, old man style. But Love Boat was the best way to ever introduce their special guest. So welcome, ladies, to the Christmas Summit podcast, the official live broadcast of Christmas Aficionado. And let me introduce each of you. Next to me is Daniela from YouTube channel HitorMissHallmark Reviews. Danielle and John review and discuss Hallmark movies and determine if it's a hit or a miss. Danielle also is making her second appearance on the channel. Last year, her and John joined me in determining what are the good parts to Single Santa meets Mrs. Claus. I think we determined there wasn't very many good parts. But Daniela has been watching Hallmark movies since 2009 with her favorite movie, the Henry Winkler classic, Most Wonderful Time of the Year, and her favorite Christmas movie is Christmas Under Wraps. Welcome, Daniela.
Hi, guys. Thanks, Joe.
Oh, no problem. So up next is Kacy from the YouTube channel and Instagram page, The Hard Reviews. I met Kacy virtually through Instagram after she appeared on the Christmas Cousins podcast, and I enjoyed reading her Instagram quick reviews. And she named her page based on the Hallmark Channel tagline, The Heart of TV, but then they just messed it up and they changed their tagline to Where Love Happens. Sorry, Kacy. But Kacy also started watching Hallmark, and here's where I feel very old. In 2009, when she was only 9 years old. So that was so long ago. Thanks for making me feel old. Her favorite movie is Christmas with Holly, but she also loves The Most Wonderful Time of the Year. Welcome, Kacy.
Nice. Thank you.
And then next up is Megan from Girls Gone Hallmark. Joined with her friend Wendy, the two share their thoughts and opinions through the most wonderful world of Hallmark movies. I discovered their podcast this past winter while I was looking for a new podcast to hear opinions on new Christmas movies, and also to determine whether or not I was being too harsh on movies. And a lot of times they agreed with me, so I found that. So I guess I was somewhat right, and so were they. So Megan started watching in 2015 with her first movie, A Christmas Detour, and her favorite Hallmark movie is A Biltmore Christmas. Welcome, Megan.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
No problem. And finally, we have movie critic Rachel from the blog, podcast, and YouTube channel, Rachel's Reviews, and one of the founders of the Hallmarkies podcast. Rachel's been watching Hallmark for a long time, but really began watching it when she started the podcast in 2017. Her first movie was Love Comes Softly from 2003, which I don't think I've ever seen. And her favorite Christmas movie is Trading Christmas. Rachel, I've been listening to your podcast since 2020, but I think the Hallmarkies podcast was one of the first podcasts to ever review Hallmark movies. Am I right or am I wrong about that?
Yeah, I think we were the second, and yeah, we're still
amazing,
pushing through. We're still doing it. This will be our 8th year in 2024.
Wow.
So that's pretty wild.
Wow! And you're not
lot
sick
of
of the Hallmark?
Hallmark
Not sick of the Hallmark movies yet?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. So as you can see, we have a variety of reviewers, all who have been watching these movies and may have an opinion on who should be honored and granite on the mountain. So let's discuss which actresses would make up the Hallmark Christmas Mount Rushmore. So I'm going to go first. I think I want to give you a little bit of opinion on. I let everybody know what your how long you've been watching and your favorite movie. So I'll give mine too, so everyone kind of knows where we're coming from. So I've been watching regularly since 2010. My first Hallmark movie was actually not a Christmas movie, but was a fall-themed movie starring Shannon Doherty called Growing the Big One. And yes, sadly, I saw the name of that movie and said, I have to watch what that's about. And it turned out to be a very different movie than what the title basically suggests. From there, I saw ads for the Christmas movies that year, and since then, I've been hooked. So my favorite Christmas movie is The Christmas Ornament from 2013. I don't think that anybody will ever top that movie, but I think everybody can kind of see now where we're all coming from. So as we choose our top 4 actresses, you'll have an idea of how long some of us have been watching and what movies we actually really do like. So with that being said, let's start talking about the Hallmark Christmas choices. And my choices, my first one, the Queen herself, Lacey Chabert, with over 30 movies, almost half of them Christmas movies. She's a no-brainer. My favorite film of hers is A Christmas Waltz. My second choice is Bethany Joy Lenz. She's possibly the best actress on the channel, and my favorite of hers is Unexpected Christmas. My third choice, Holly Robinson Peete. Now, Holly's been a staple of Hallmark movies since 2015 with roles in all of those evergreen films. But I think my favorite was the one she did a couple years ago, Our Christmas Journey. And then fourth is Nikki DeLoach. She's the queen of sad, depressing Christmas movies. She's always a highlight for viewers looking to cry. My favorite of hers is actually from 2016 with Andrew Walker, A Dream of Christmas, which is actually somewhat sad, but not as, not as sad as some of the other ones that she has done. So with that being said, what are your thoughts on my top 4? Do you agree with that, or do you think I missed the mark on some of them?
I gotta say, I definitely agree that Bethany Joy Lenz, best actress on the channel. Absolutely love her all the time. Personally, I kind of took her out of my running because to me, she's so well known for everything else she does. Like, to me, she's not like a Hallmark lady, even though she is. Obviously, she does a ton with Hallmark. But I agree, she's so good, and she brings such joy to the channel. Haha, joy like her name. So, love it.
Well, Carly put a message here. She said nice list, Joe, so I'm going to just have to show that. So thank you, Carly. And then John's also watching, and he said, "Whoa, nice one. Holly is a gem." So of course, and then Lacey's a given. Agreed on Bethany. So great. So
I do agree.
Yeah,
Bethany, I can write an essay on my love for Bethany Joy Lenz. In fact, I have, and I had it prepared tonight, but you just zipped through those, so I guess I'm not going through my essay presentation, but that's fine.
You'll do yours. I mean, when you present yours, if she's on there, you can feel free to read your essay.
She's definitely on there. Spoiler, but yeah, she's definitely on there.
What do you think of
Nikki,
Holly?
I'm surprised.
Nikki.
I'm surprised.
She is not my favorite, but the way I approached this list was who are the people that is consistently on the channel, who are the movies that people look forward to. I don't want to watch sad, depressing, crying Christmas movies. And that's all she seems to do anymore. Although last year's was pretty good with the Jenga blocks and stuff.
Yeah, we've talked to her about that, and she wants to do comedy. She has comedy roots. It's frustrating, and she can be funny, but they keep putting her in these marriage and crisis stories. But the one that you picked, it wouldn't be my favorite. You'll see where. But I love Nikki. I think she's great. I guess for me, with Holly, most of her Christmas movies have been in parts of ensembles. So that's the only thing that I would be kind of like, does she deserve to be on the Mount Rushmore? Because she does have that Christmas Doctor, and she has some, but I just feel like a lot of hers have been ensembles.
That was my tough thing. I just kind of felt like she's given her due, she's been on a lot. Like here's because,
she also wasn't in anything last year.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Now, so I guess maybe she doesn't quite deserve it. But for example, I'm gonna let you also say when you do your list who you didn't choose but you wanted to, because Daniela tried to get me to do 5 and I said no. If I could have had a 5th spot, it would have been Ashley Williams. She's my favorite, but she hasn't been on enough Christmas movies, I felt. She's done more, I think, than Bethany, but Bethany's just so good in these movies that I had a hard time. Believe me, I had and then my favorite, which is she hasn't been done in a Hallmark movie in a long time, is Alicia Witt. I would have loved to put her on here too.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I felt that these 4 were probably the ones that would be up there, and then maybe Ashley and Alicia would be like below that, like in that next level of actresses. So
I also had Alicia Witt originally on my list because I love the Mistletoe Inn. I can watch that one.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Whenever it's on, it's just so cozy, and I love that one. But
that one's fun.
Unfortunately, she didn't make the list. But man, I was like flip-flopping everywhere, just like, and I was playing like okay, move here, move her here, move her here. But yeah.
Well,
I might be wrong, but I don't. My favorite thing about Mistletoe Inn is that they have one of the drinks is the Tiny Tim, which I just think is hilarious. They have like an alcoholic beverage based on a child. I don't know. I think that's funny.
Well, why don't we move on to Daniela's list and go from there?
Okay.
So
without an ounce of hesitation, my number 1 was Bethany Joy Lenz. I think she is a delight, and I think that she elevates any script that she's given. She's natural. I buy anything she's projecting on the screen. She's a fantastic actress. My number 2 is Eloise Mumford. It's actually a surprise to me, but you know what? She has this uncanny ability to make me cry. Oh wait, I need to say my favorite Bethany Joy Lenz Christmas movie, which is An Unexpected Christmas.
Yes, that's her best.
I love it. Absolutely adore it. She was the standout for me in that one. So Eloise, okay, to be fair, I am quite taken by her non-Christmas movies, like Sweeter Than Chocolate, Presents of Love. I think I mentioned Sweeter Than Chocolate in like every single review that we do. I find a way to kind of like work that in because I'm obsessed with her in that movie. But Christmas with Holly, I absolutely adored. It's an older one. It's from 2012. And Joe, you actually introduced that one to us, and we reviewed it on our channel. And granted, I feel like it was a little bit more of like a family drama than a Christmas movie, but it definitely had the elements of Christmas there. But she like was this beacon that just kind of like shone in that movie, which I loved. So yes, she's my number 2. My number 3 might be a bit of an odd choice here because I think she's relatively new to the Hallmark scene. I could be wrong, but it's Vanessa Lengies. And it's really about my favorite movie that she was in, which was Take Me Back for Christmas. What's it called? Take Me Back for Christmas. That's the one. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I
So good.
sobbed. I lost it in that scene where she is with her mom and she has to say goodbye and she has to go back into the real world. I just sobbed my heart out. It was amazing. I love her. I think she's got like a cute little detail about her is I love her voice. So I love whenever she's like speaking on screen. She's got this kind of like distinctly raspy, squeaky kind of voice. And I don't know, I think she's very versatile. She's cute and she's kind of peppy, but she can also play sophisticated. And I just really love her. And then my last one. Oh, and also she's Canadian, so I kind of have to always, I have to. And then Brooke Dorsey is my number 4. I flip-flopped a lot on this one, but she has a piece of my heart, another Canadian, and it was primarily her performance in A Dickens of a Holiday, because that movie has grown, it's part of my top 5, I would say, of all time at this point. And it's still relatively new, so that's saying a lot. But she kind of reminds me of Julia Roberts. She has this megawatt smile. I just love seeing her on screen. I think she's pretty, and I don't know, I love her, and I'm going to support her. Although I do agree her film choices lately have been a bit questionable. Not So Royal Christmas, Fabled Holiday. I'm not a fan of those at all. But despite those choices, I will support her. And this is my Mount Rushmore.
Okay. So we have a couple of comments, and then we'll let everyone else talk. So the Hallmarkies podcast says Eloise is great.
Love her. Look at her cherub little face, too. I don't know. She's so cute. I love her.
Carly said, yes, An Unexpected Christmas. So obviously she agrees. Daniel Holloway.
Literally, it was unexpected. That movie was I thought from the previews, this is going to go nowhere. This is a dumb idea, but they made it work. The performances, the writing, it was amazing.
So Daniel says Eloise's job is to cry and make you cry. She's always right on the edge of the waterworks.
She does it. She does it for me, that's for sure.
And Michelle says, love that Vanessa movie. Good pick, Daniela. So we got a lot of good comments. Let me give you my thoughts, and then I'll let everybody, if everybody else has. So, I joked with John. John is with Daniela on Hallmark Hit or Miss Reviews. That I said, oh well, who would want to put Brooke Dorsey on? And he goes, well, Daniela's trying to figure that out. And I was like, okay. I have nothing against the woman. She's a very good actress. But I can't tell you if I like any of her movies, and I know
you did not like A Dickens of a Holiday.
I did not like Dickens
Beverly Hills Wedding. Come on.
I did not.
Blasphemous.
You're gonna have to keep in mind, I only watch Hallmark Christmas movies. I don't watch you. All 4 of you watch the movies throughout the year. Yes. I don't know how you do it. I love Hallmark Christmas movies, but I can't sit and watch any of the other ones. So
what
she
about
may have
Miss Christmas?
But Dickens of a Holiday was Christmas. It was about Christmas Carol.
I know. I just there was just something about that movie.
Palaha. Okay,
I know.
Brooke. Okay, but Palaha, I don't know if you watch my channel, you know I have.
I know you love Palaha.
I'm gonna say it's a healthy obsession with this man, but it borders on unhealthy. And I love this man, and for obvious reasons, sure.
Yeah.
But he's an amazing actor. He's versatile.
I know.
His monologue at the end of A Dickens of a Holiday is like a top 5 Hallmark moment ever.
I know. 100%. I always get a lot of pushback when I say I didn't like Dickens, but when I did my was that 22 that came out or 21? I can't remember.
No, I think wasn't it 23?
Was it?
No, it was 22.
22.
It was 22.
It wasn't
so
this past year.
I put that when I do a video every year of ranking all the Hallmark Christmas movies. It takes me forever to put that together. And I put that one down real low, and boy, the comments on that video, believe me, I know. I just didn't like the movie. Christopher Palaha is amazing in that. I give you that, but it wasn't enough for me. But we're talking about Brooke. And I know Miss Christmas is probably her best one.
Right.
It's fine. I don't have a problem with that one. But I think, as you said, Daniela, I think I agree with you. Her last 3 or 4 movies have been not so great. But that's just my opinion. So I don't know. Anybody else have some thoughts on this list on maybe Vanessa or Eloise?
Well, I just like
I am
that.
so glad that you put Eloise on here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah. I love her. I think she's so likable. And, you know, I follow her on socials, and, like, literally every picture is her, like, smiling and laughing. Like, she just seems like just personally, she seems like a great person that I want to hang out with. And I don't know, she's a great actress, too. Like, she really emotes. Like, obviously, I literally cry every time I see her. And, yeah, I look forward to every time she does something new with Hallmark. And I hope they use her more.
Yeah, okay. Presence of Love, that's underrated. That one was really good.
Again, destroyed. I was destroyed. And I like, we keep saying that we should do a watch along or something, because I think if you were to see me watch any kind of sad Hallmark movie that's actually sad and well done, the ugly cry just comes out and it's uncontrollable. And that was one of them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will say I think I love Vanessa. I think her previous movies okay. That last one that she did, you know, where with the mom and stuff, Take Me Back for Christmas.
Oh my God. Yeah.
It showed that that took her up a level, but I don't think she's ready to be on that Mount Rushmore just yet. I think if she put out 3 or 4 more movies that are just as good as, I mean, again, she has to wait on the writers, but if she's in a movie that is just as good as that one,
okay,
I can easily say, yeah, she goes up there. But I think she only has that one that so far.
Well, she's got the Toyland one too, which it doesn't even come close. I know, but I know.
No.
But yeah, that was my kind of like wild card here. I went a little like to the left, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna choose someone kind of different. And I love her so.
All right. Well, why don't we move on? We are going to now have Kacy introduce hers, and Kacy, it's your floor.
Okay. So I just wanted to start by saying, here's my criteria that I gave myself. So I wanted to choose people who, when you think their name, you think Hallmark. You don't necessarily think of other projects first. And then also people who were part of the history of Hallmark, so in the Bill Abbott era, but also are part of current Hallmark, who are helping to further what Hallmark can become. Yeah, and then also people who are just like very, you know, Hallmark Christmas. Like if it was Hallmark year-round, that'd be a very different list. So anyway, number 1, I agree with Joe, Christmas Queen herself, Lacey Chabert, of course. My favorite movie of hers is Matchmaker Santa. That one was very important to me growing up. Also, you can't find it anywhere anymore except on Pixel. If you have friendly TV, that's a life hack. And then number 2 is Kimberly Sestad. She was a given for me. These were my top 2, like immediately locked in. Kimberly Sestad, my favorite of hers is 9 Lives of Christmas, of course, can't go wrong. But also, she plays the lesbian sister in A Bride for Christmas. Back when Hallmark used the word gay in the olden days, and then again now, obviously, which was just like groundbreaking. And she's been around since the beginning, and now she's a writer and just like absolutely brilliant, amazing, wonderful, always. My third choice, this is where things get so weird.
Wow.
Oh.
Like I'm all over this list. So I chose Allie Liebert, as you can see. My favorite of hers, which she really didn't have that much to do with, but like I have to pick 3 Wise Men and a Baby just because she's in it and that movie is brilliant. But she's done a lot of wonderful work by herself as well. But I picked her because she started as a Hallmark best friend, became a leading lady, and is now directing, she's producing, she's helped writing, you know, and then she's furthering all of these stories for Hallmark and making them a more inclusive space. So had to include her. My 4th pick is just like so out of pocket. So I picked Paula Shaw, who plays the grandma in like all of these movies. Because I was like, everybody's gonna just choose the leading ladies, and I'm like, but what about everybody else who like makes these Hallmark Christmas movies? And I have heard so many people be like, I have to watch that because Paula Shaw is in it. And also, she's been around since the beginning. My favorite movie of hers is Hitched for the Holidays, which Gary Goldstein loved back when Hallmark did such beautiful Jewish movies, although she was also in Round and Round, right? Yes, and which was phenomenal. She is a Christian woman playing a Jewish woman half the time, which, like, I feel kind of weird about as a semi-Jewish person myself. But you know what? She's helping further the narrative, and she's delightful. So this is my, like, completely out-of-pocket list. I will say I really wanted to do Eloise, but I thought that people might laugh at me because she's been in so few, even though she's brilliant. Wanted to do Brooke Burns from The Most Wonderful Time of the Year, but she's only been in a few, and so it's just, like, you know, it's hard. I really want to do Bethany. I love her, but to me, she is like Haley James, One Tree Hill, more than Joy Lenz of Hallmark. So I stuck to my guns and came up with this.
Well, you got a few comments. Kimberly is one of my favorites. Great choice from Michelle. Carly says Kim. So obviously she's a very popular one. She's the best grandma. So for Paula. And John just said ha. So I assume it's because of Paula.
He loves Paula Shaw. You should, every time she comes on screen, he says Paula Shaw. Like, it's just like an event, and yeah, he loves her.
And then Daniel agrees with you guys that Allie Liebert was terrific in Three Wise Men. So
she's phenomenal always.
Yep. Yeah. So Oh, and then John says Paula does Jewish pretty well, honestly.
She really does. I feel like, you know, maybe if she wants to convert.
Yeah. So let me give you my thoughts on this. When I got your list, I was like, oh, that is Paula. That's different. That was not what I was expecting. I don't disagree. She's been on a lot of movies. I don't know if she would ever made my list because she does do minor characters, you know, and yeah, I think we have to sort of look at the you know, as the ones who do the main roles, but she would probably be in that second level if we had a second level of Mount Rushmore. Kimberly was a choice that I would have had, but again, I can only choose 4, and I made the rules, so I have to stick by them. I think her becoming a writer has now really improved my opinion of her. I thought she was great in 9 Lives. I mean, that's one of my favorites as well. I liked her because she wasn't the typical Hallmark girl at the time. That movie was the first movie where they said, "Oh, the main woman can have problems and issues and maybe not wear high heels all the time." Because back in, what was it? That was 2010, 11 or 13, something like that.
I mean, honestly, I feel like back in the day they did do like women with broken families, but she was the first like chunky jacket, not dressed up all the time, you know?
Yeah. So yeah, it was a completely different feel. But yeah, I mean, and obviously I agree with Lacey as well. I think, what was the movie that you said was your favorite? It was
Matchmaker Santa. It's a classic.
Matchmaker Santa. Yeah, that is that is a classic. It is a very I don't think they show that anymore, but no. Yeah, it does have a great supporting cast in that. But I do like that one. So, what are anybody else have some thoughts on this? Megan, Rachel?
Yeah, it's an eclectic, creative choices, and I wouldn't have thought of, but fun. Yeah. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I love the inclusion of a supporting actress because I think there's something really special about a memorable supporting role. I get that, you know, maybe we're looking at lead actresses here, but I like that choice.
Yeah,
I appreciate
like this
that.
list. There's logic to it, and there's like intent, and I can see that you had a vision and you went with it. But then there's also like unexpected choices here, so that's cool. It's a fantastic.
I was not expecting these choices either. I'm a dramaturg, like I'm a researcher. It's what I do, and so I went through and I was like comparing. I was like, but has this person done as many movies as Paula Shaw, as many like good movies, you know? And then she almost lost out to Nikki because Nikki's done one more, but I just couldn't think of one that I really liked of Nikki's that like was like enough to be like, this is my favorite Nikki. Like, she's more of like a fall actress for me. So I ended up with this.
Nice.
Okay. All right. Well, why don't we move on to Megan's choices? So, Megan, it's all yours.
So I have to say that the original list I started with, when I went to start to pull my favorite movies of theirs, I realized that some of my favorite actresses, like we've talked about, aren't their best movies aren't Christmas movies, and they had to get bumped off the list for me because it didn't make sense as much as I love them, and it was hard to let them go. So in my number one spot is Brooke D'Orsay, and anybody who has ever listened to an episode of our podcast knows I am her biggest fan from her Royal Pains days. I do agree that some of her more recent movies have not been great, but I will say that she is the best part of those less than great movies. I mean, she makes them watchable because I just adore her. I find her so fun to watch on screen. So she got my number one spot. Number two, it's Lacey Chabert. I couldn't see making this list without her, even though part of me thought, wanted to almost push back on it because it seems like the obvious choice. It's the obvious choice for a reason. My favorite movie of hers. Oh, I'm so sorry. My favorite Brooke movie is A Dickens of a Holiday. My favorite Lacey movie is A Christmas Waltz. And I have to say that on the title alone, I was not interested in that movie. I thought it would be a complete snooze. And it's this beautiful, lovely movie. Obviously, she and Will Kemp are darling together. If you haven't seen it, I could see, for me, again, the title is like a point against it. It's the loveliest movie. Number three for me is Kimberly Sustad. I adore her. My favorite she's been in is Lights, Camera, Christmas, but her more recent To All a Good Night was such, like, pulled on my heart in such a surprising way. But Lights, Camera, Christmas is so fun. She got to kind of poke fun at the Hallmark world while still making a great movie. I mean, the movie was so fun. Obviously, her pairing with John Brotherton and his sexy Santa moment really elevated that movie for me. But I love her always. She's another one that I'm like, how bad could a movie be if she's in it? Like, she's still going to be the bright spot. Number four, this was tough. I gave it to Autumn Reeser. And my movie of hers might be controversial because it's Love at the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which is maybe a Christmas movie, maybe not a Christmas movie. There's a Santa in it.
It's definitely a Christmas movie.
It's Christmas. Yeah.
We reviewed it in our fall series, and there was arguments both ways. But I think you can absolutely make an argument for it being a Christmas movie. And if you haven't seen this is an Autumn Reeser who's very different from current day Autumn Reeser. She's fun and she's quirky, which is not to say that she's not fun, but she tends to play a little more buttoned up roles lately. And the quirky Autumn Reeser in this movie is such a delight. Ali Liebert plays her quirky best friend. It is so fun. I'd recommend that one. So
that's a great one. One of my favorites.
Yeah. So, you got a comment. Christmas Waltz is sneaky good.
So good.
John says, "Oh," so I'm not sure what that was about. But then he also said one more. Whoa, Autumn didn't see that one coming. So
I also really like Bramble House that she's in. Bramble House Christmas. That's Autumn's in. That one's good.
So I mean, I'm not gonna go into Brooke. We already know that I don't agree, but I think let me save face because I think she's great actress. I just have not liked any of the movies. Lacey,
she's a great actress who makes terrible movies.
Well, no, it's the writers that make the bad movies. She's just good in these bad movies. So,
Dickens of a Holiday is not a bad movie.
Okay,
I will fight you to the end on that one.
Well, so of course, Lacey, I agree with. We already talked about Kimberly, but Autumn was one that I didn't think about. I think maybe because she doesn't do as many Christmas ones. I mean, I can't Love at the Thanksgiving Day Parade is great. I love that one. I think that's probably her best one that I've seen her in. And I like how she seems different in that one than any of the other ones that I've seen her in. No,
I had 4 spots.
No, I get
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get you. But I think I wouldn't have thought about her, but she's close. She's in that second row. I mean that second row is getting really long, but maybe it goes 4, 8, and then 12. Something like that. But yeah, I don't know. So what are anybody else's thoughts on the list?
I think this is a fabulous list, and I couldn't agree more about the Christmas waltz. When that singing in the rain scene where they're dancing on the street,
So
sucked
good.
right in. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, this is the one. I love this one. Oh my gosh, I loved it.
You know what I liked about Christmas Waltz? The one scene that I really liked is when they go to his family's house, and it's in this tiny little apartment that is crammed with relatives that are just trying to have a good Christmas, and it's not in these huge mansion of homes that a waitress owns or something like that. It felt real, like what I mean. Like it felt like, oh, that's what a New York Christmas. I don't remember if it took place in New York or not, or Chicago or one of those. But it was like that's how that would be. Like it felt real. And I don't care about dance movies, and I was dreading watching that one because I'm like, that is my favorite Lacey movie. Like out of all the Lacey movies, that's probably my favorite. And I didn't.
Me too.
It's not because of dancing, it's just because their chemistry is so good. That scene with them dancing in the streets, which just came out of nowhere, just perfect for that film. So yeah, just a couple things. Oh, couple more comments. Christmas Waltz was fantastic. Bramble House Christmas is really good, and then Autumn for Christmas. So, so any other thoughts on this list? Otherwise, we'll move on to Rachel's.
I also was looking at Autumn because she's such a Hallmark name, but like she's only done 3 to 4 Christmas movies, 4 if you count Love at the Thanksgiving Day Parade, which I count that as a year-round film, and Hallmark only shows it like maybe once a year. Like they're very stingy with it, which is upsetting. But then she's done like 16 other movies, and I say but I did count. She's done 16 non-Christmas Hallmark movies. So I don't know. It's just a weird. I want to put her on like the year-round Hallmark list, because she's in them all the time.
Okay, well, why don't we let Rachel go and give us her top 4?
All right. So I didn't necessarily have these in like order of preference. I just have 4. But my first one to talk about is Nikki DeLoach. And my favorite, she has gotten kind of stuck in marriage and crisis land lately, but I do love Two Turtle Doves. I think that movie is so lovely, and the chemistry between her and Michael Rady is so strong. And the scene where the little girl says, "I didn't know I was allowed to be sad." Oh my gosh! And I think that's one of the best near kisses in any of these movies. It's intentional. It's explained. It makes sense. And she always delivers. Even if the movie isn't my favorite, her performance is always good. So that's my number 1. My number 2 is Lacey Chabert, and it's The Christmas Waltz. I love this movie so much. It was just such it made me feel so happy in 2020. I think we all needed it that year, and the whimsy of it. It's the closest we'll probably ever get to a musical, and I love musicals and I love musical theater. It was enchanting. Number 3, this one's a little bit controversial. I have Sarah Drew. I admit that most of her good Christmas movies are for Lifetime, not for Hallmark. So you take it or leave it. But she has some of my favorite. Christmas Pen Pals was so good. Her and Niall Mater, absolutely incredible in that one. I love Twinkle All the Way. So good. So yeah, and Reindeer Games Homecoming, absolutely excellent. So yeah, like I said, most of it's Lifetime, but she's so good. And then last I have Kimberly Susted, 9 Lives of Christmas. I kind of feel like you have to include her, and really, I mean, she has had so many good ones. recently. I mean, she's Lights, Camera, Christmas, Spotlight on, Christmas by Starlight. And she even did like a semi-decent sequel, which are very hard to come by in Hallmark world. Usually sequels are awful. And The Night Kids of Christmas was watchable. And so that to me says a lot.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So, that's fine.
Well, we got a couple. John says, I think she has to count technically. So I assume he's talking about Sarah. Yeah, he says Drew, So yes, talked about her. We got a comment about what I said about the small apartment in Walt's felt real, and it's also brought the character back into his working class roots. So agree with that. So I can't tell you that I can remember all of Sarah Drew's movies. I don't watch Lifetime, but I know who she was. Those
three that I mentioned, Christmas Pen Pals, Twinkle All the Way, and Reindeer Games Homecoming, are top tier, top level.
Yeah, I know I've seen them, but it's been a long time since I've seen them. So, and then, we've talked about the other three as well. So I got a couple of comments here. So, my brother says no Ashley Williams at all. I'm shocked, because he knows how my love for Ashley. And then John says, Joe, you were supposed to pick Ashley. Obviously, I didn't. Just a couple things.
It's been so long since she's been in a Christmas movie, other than the Sister Swap movies. I adore her, but.
And then regarding Kimberly, Christmas by Starlight is one of their favorites as well.
Yeah, I love that one.
Yeah. So, I think, your list is close. It has two of the ones that I picked, and I think we've seen Kimberly quite a bit on this list. Any other thoughts on these? So, I will say Two Turtle Doves is one of my favorite Nikki ones. I like the one of Andrew Walker just a little bit more because I think it was a little quirky. But the Two Turtle Doves I actually reviewed on my channel in the trope count, where I count all of the Hallmark Christmas tropes. That movie had so many Christmas traditions in it that every time that they mention, we're tradition of doing this and tradition of doing that, and then
because there's that scavenger hunt, so
yes.
That's gonna make sense.
Yeah, and it's part of the Dead Grandma trilogy, or Dead Grandparent trilogy, where she made 3 movies in a row where a grandparent died and she misses them and inherits something of theirs, and then tries to live their Christmas life without their grandparents. And so I'm glad she moved on from that, but 3 in a row was just a bit much. It was like, okay, we get it, Nikki, you can cry, you miss your grandparents. What else could you do? But great. So we've seen all of our lists. I have wanted to see if we could possibly choose a top. Let's try this again here. That's not letting me do that. There we go. If we could possibly choose it's not letting me do this. Come on. There we go. Let's see what we can do. Well, I don't think it's going to let me bring this
It's
up.
not meant to be. We can't. It's just too difficult.
Why don't we just see if we can identify who, out of all 4, all of us, what are the top 4? Lacey was in almost everyone's list.
Yeah.
Kimberly was in.
I think Lacey and Kimberly for sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So then it's the other 2 is the question.
Yes. I think Nikki had a strong showing. I'm trying to, and Bethany Joy Lenz was there, and so was Brooke Diorcet.
Yeah. I think it's one of them's got to be Bethany. I don't know. I'm going to fight hard on that.
Any
I think there's an argument to be made for Bethany, given
that alone, I think, is suffice.
Yeah, and I think given her recent standout, obviously we have A Biltmore Christmas, you have Unexpected Christmas. 2 huge runaway holiday hits, I think scores her major points.
Also, you know what?
Yeah.
I'm not going to discount Poinsettias for Christmas. I know that's not a popular one,
no.
but I actually I liked that one. You know what? If that's on TV, I will watch it. I will watch it. But that just throws more Christmas movies her way, though.
That one was so
She's had
boring
like the
to me.
number one movies for the past few years. So, yeah. And then also like her old ones, like what's the one with
Her
the
old
with
one,
the necklace?
where she finds out that
You know.
the woman who works at the restaurant is actually her
Mhm.
grandmother or mother. I loved that one. That's
Yeah.
For me,
People are obsessed
Christmas.
with that one too. So she has the
For me-
history, she has the current.
For me, Joy's best movie is still Snowed in Christmas, the one she did for Lifetime with Andrew Walker. And I will always, that movie is one of my
Yes, I
favorites.
remember
And
that now.
also,
I love
the
that
fact
one.
they have a music video, La La Land inspired, that goes along with the
Oh.
movie is amazing. So
What about Five
that's
Star Christmas? I really enjoyed Five Star Christmas. I liked that one too.
Yeah.
Paula Shaw.
it was okay.
Paula Shaw. There you go.
I'm okay having Joy on there. I mean, she is very reliable.
Okay.
Okay.
Good. Okay.
So we have one spot then. So if we have Lacey, Kimberly, Nikki, who's the final spot?
Well,
No, Lacey's on there. No, like
I said, yeah.
Lacey,
I said
Kimberly,
Lacey,
Bethany, not Nikki.
Bethany.
Oh.
Lacey,
Oh,
Kimberly,
sorry. Did I say Nikki? Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Bethany. Yep. So who's the
We know
who's
who
the
you're
final
rooting
spot?
I think
for,
we
Joe.
have
We get it.
either.
We hear it.
I think the debate is either Nikki or Brooke. I think those were the two that were on lists the most.
Mm-hmm.
And Brooke has so many misses. I didn't realize until we did our Worst of Hallmark episode. And I had
Yeah.
so many. Her and Jen Lilly by far had the most bad movies.
I know.
And I love them both. I really do. And they both have their wins. But I think I would go with Nikki. I think she has more, even though she's been stuck in marriage and crisis world. I would push for Nikki.
Well, we know where I'm going, so you know. So that's 2 votes for Nikki.
Well,
It's a hard-
me and
I
Megan,
can
love Brooke, so
I know. I understand the argument against choosing Brooke. I do. I'm not going to. I see that comment, John. I understand the argument against Brooke. I ride hard for Brooke D'Orsay, and I'm gonna stand by her as my choice. I'm willing to be voted down, but
So I think, Kacy, you get to decide. You're the
think I'm the
determinant.
Oh.
We have 2 Nikki, 2
The
Brooke.
hard part is that I like Brooke so much more. No offense to Nikki. I think that Nikki's great. I love her with Andrew Walker. But like, I don't know, her fun movies are not the Christmas movies. And I like a good sad movie. But I love Brooke, and I love Miss Christmas, and I love
Christmas is good.
A Dickens of the Holidays. Absolutely phenomenal. It's in one of my top
Yes.
5s too.
Yes.
I like that too.
But I also feel like Nikki is more of the choice you should go with, like the face of Hallmark. I don't know that I can choose. I think maybe the comments have to choose.
She literally was on the interstitials last year. She literally did the.
Choose
With
with your
Brendan Elliott.
heart. Choose with your heart.
I'm so sorry, Brooke, but I think I gotta go Nikki for Mount Rushmore. But it's Brooke in my heart.
All right.
I think that's the right. I know. I'm not gonna run it down because I think she's perfect. She's a great actress, but yeah, I think Nikki is probably the better suited one. So it is going to be Lacey, Kimberly, Bethany, and Nikki as the top 4.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going
That's
to
a
be
heavy hitter list. That's a good
It's
list
a good
right
list.
there.
Yeah, so I'm going to mock that up. I'll put their faces on a Mount Rushmore, and then we'll say this is our final decision. We got a couple of comments here, just to finish up. Daniel says, no Candace. Sorry, Daniel. I don't think any of us can choose Candace now. She abandoned Hallmark. So if she was actually on at one point, she probably would have been on at one point. We would have had to chisel her face off the mountain because she decided to move on.
Yeah,
so you can't count her.
I personally would have taken that chisel. Angrily.
So John says must be territory.
I've
Talking
yet
about
to
Brooke, I think,
like
and it
her.
hurts me.
But then Michelle says Busby. Ugh. So
Love her
I
as
don't
a
like
human.
Busby.
She's wonderful.
I'm sure they're all.
Yeah.
They're. I hate. This is the part where you kind of have to move from their work of what you like more versus others, because I'm sure they're all wonderful.
Yeah, her movies have not been the strongest.
Yeah, so happy it was Nikki from Geraldine. So, and then John says one more time, nice work, people. So we have our Hallmark ladies, Mount Rushmore. We are going to be doing a future one with the men. However, I am going to choose 4 Hallmark men reviewers to choose them, because I have a feeling, just based on being at Christmas Con, there would be some bias on certain people. So I'm going to let the guys choose the guys. I might be wrong, but believe me, when you see that Mr. Hines has 4 backup lines to everybody's one line, it's kind of hard to say that there would not be, a favorite.
Yeah.
So, well, I want to thank everyone for coming, for everyone watching. We had a ton of comments, which is great. Hopefully, a ton of people watching this, and hopefully this will be on the channel for people to watch in the future. So feel free to rewatch it again if you want to hear my comments about Brooke, which probably don't. But before we sign off, I'm gonna let each one of you promote your channels and your podcasts. Danielle, what if you want to promote where we can find you?
I am one half of Hit or Miss Hallmark movie reviews, only on YouTube, but we review all of the new premieres, and a new addition to the channel will be our Christmas every month. On the 25th of every month, we'll have a Christmas special, and so that means this Monday.
Kacy?
I am the heart of reviews. I do written reviews for all of the Christmas movies every season on Instagram, but I'm also on YouTube where I do some video reviews. I play Christmas Hallmark board games with writers. And this summer I'm going to be making some videos about exactly why we didn't see Candace Cameron Bure on this list, and the history of the Hallmark channel and researchy stuff like that. So you can find me on Instagram and YouTube.
Cool. Megan?
I am one half of the Girls Gone Hallmark podcast. We review new movies and series, as well as fan favorite throwback movies. And we drop reviews every single week. You can also find us on Instagram, where we are also Girls Gone Hallmark.
Cool. And Rachel?
And I'm Rachel Wagner, and you can find me at the Hallmarkies podcast, where me and a bunch of my friends, we cover all things Hallmark, whether it's One Calls the Heart, or The Way Home, or Christmas movies. And we try to cover all things rom-com, all things holiday, and have so much fun doing it.
Great. Well, hey, we have a comment here which proves my point. 1, 2, 3, 4, Hines. So, but yeah, I want to thank all 4 of you for joining me. This has been a fun discussion. I'm happy that we were able to quickly choose the top 4, because I was afraid that might take a while, but I think we were able to put together a really good list. So, thanks for everybody for watching. The next one will be about the men, so we will start, that will be out in a few weeks. We'll probably do a live broadcast for that. Then afterwards, I think we need to combine the 2 lists and try to come up with who the actual 4 is, because it's, when you have 4 men, 4 women, both of them make up these movies. What would that be, and what would that look like? So, that's going to be a tough call. So, hey, well, thanks, everybody. Be sure you check out Christmas Aficionado. I don't always just do Hallmark reviews. In fact, I have a Harry Potter movie that just came out where I go in detail out everything that Harry Potter did for Christmas through the books and the movies. It's a great video. I loved it. I love putting that together. I'm going to give myself some credit for that because it took me 3 weeks to edit. So, but I have the next video I'm working on is the trope count for Christmas and Evergreen 3. I decided to do all of the Christmas and Evergreen movies, and I regret doing that because the first one was good, the second one was not so good, the third one, it's okay. So, as I'm going through it, so I have 2 more Evergreen movies to do on those reviews, but be sure to check out the channel. I have lots of stuff there. Be sure to check out everybody's podcast and YouTube channels and Instagram pages and follow us all along on there. And we'll have to say Merry Christmas, and hopefully we'll have a great Hallmark Christmas season coming up this year. So thanks, everybody, and we'll end the show right now. See ya.